to have Stella Chung. She is a former alumnus and founder and owner of YogaGals, and she's going to show us how to live life with ease and use yoga to bring out the best in our opportunities. Please join us, Stella Chung.
So, thank you for having me here. I was really excited when Catherine asked me to speak for the group tonight, and it was like the best of all worlds. Like, female professionals, USC alumni, and I get to talk about yoga. Like, that's just fantastic. So, my name is Stella Chung, and I'm the CEO and founder of YogaGals.com. And tonight I'm going to share with you just a little bit about my career track and how I found YogaGals. And then my secret to living on a higher vibration to help you stay on your path and to keep you staying inspired. Okay. So I graduated from SC in '99, and I majored in business. And at the time, I had no idea what I was going to do with that. It just seemed like a practical thing to do at the time, and it was. You know, I knew how to write a resume when I got out of college, and I got a job lined up afterwards, and you know, it just seemed like that was what I was supposed to do, because like if I didn't have a job lined up after, like I would have felt like a loser. I don't know. It just, all my friends were doing it, so it was like, okay, I need to do this too. So I kind of went from job to job, and you know, I really didn't have like a clear path of what I was going to do or what I wanted to do. And whenever I got a job, it was like, okay, this is the one. Like, as if I was going to stay at it till I retired. You know, like that's what my parents wanted. But, you know, that doesn't really happen these days. So, you know, I didn't know what I really wanted to do, but I was always drawn to marketing and sales. So I found myself working in public radio, and I was supporting the sales team, and then also doing marketing and promotions. And from there, I went into publishing, working for a healthy lifestyle magazine, and I worked as an account executive doing ad sales. So while I was doing all of this, I was practicing yoga, and I was still teaching, just teaching like once or twice a week. And as I practiced more yoga, it became more of a lifestyle. And it was really at this magazine that I got to evolve as a person, because I got to combine my sales and marketing background with like a spiritual aspect to it. So I got to bring that into the business that I did. And a lot of the clients that I got to meet and got to know were in like the conscious, they were like conscious business owners. So it was like yoga studios, it was like spiritual art and film and music, and you know, a lot of them were like in the green industry. So it was here that I really got I got to taste, a little taste of what it was like to have my own business. Because being in sales, I had to find my own business, manage my own accounts, and you know, the autonomy was great. I knew that I was disciplined enough to have, you know, a taste of what it was like to have my own business. And it got to a point at the magazine where, you know, I got to the top, and I was a top salesperson, and it just, I couldn't go any further. So at this point, there was a little voice in my head that said, you know, if I could make money for someone else, then I could probably make it for myself. So, you know, at the time, I started shiatsu massage school too. And with everything that was going on, there was like a calling to teach yoga and to do massage therapy. So I listened to that, and I quit my job, and it was really scary at the time because, you know, the steady paycheck and, you know, the just having a rhythm, you know, I was gonna, you know, it's scary. But I, you know, after talking with some friends, and really listening to my heart and just knowing like I had to do this. I quit my job. So at that point, I had just gotten married. I was married for like about a year, a little over a year at the time. And my partner was very supportive of me of starting my own business. And financially, I knew it was going to be okay for like a couple of months. Just because I knew I had some commission coming in and the next 2 or 3 months were going to be okay. So I quit my job in the winter of 2007 and started teaching at a few different places, teaching yoga. And starting in January 2008, my marriage was falling apart, and in May of last year, we separated and we got divorced. It was really at this point that I had just started YogaGals, like very informally. Like, all I had was really the name. But I was teaching a few group classes, but I didn't have any privates yet. So I had no idea like what I was going to do about money or how I was going to support myself. It was really a shock, and I just found myself moving into a new place, and really just kind of like starting my life like all over again. And I thought I was set for life. Like I was married, I'm going to start my business, like this is good. And then everything just kind of turned upside down. And one day I just found myself sitting in my new place at my desk, and just I started to job search, and just the feeling of sitting there job searching felt bad. Like it didn't feel right. So once again, I just had to listen to that voice, and I thought, if I don't give this a try right now, I will never know, how it could have succeeded or not succeeded. So at that moment, I just said to myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give YogaGals a try. And, what's the worst that can happen, really? If it doesn't work out, I'll find another job. So once I made that decision, then things started to flow. And, private started coming in, referrals came through, and I just really felt like the universe was providing, and it was easy, I always felt like success had to be a struggle, or I had to like work really hard for it. But I just found that once I made the decision to, teach yoga, do the massage therapy, start YogaGals, it just started flowing. And I felt like I was in the flow of life, And once I let go of the marriage and that life that was so difficult, I was no longer swimming upstream. And things felt natural, and things flowed. So, what it really comes down to for me, and what I've learned, is to follow the path of least resistance. You've all heard of the path of least resistance. So that leads me into my most favorite thing to talk about, which is feeling good all the time. So how many of you feel good all the time? Don't be shy, just raise your hand if you do. Yeah? How many of you feel good most of the time? Good. How many of you feel like it's not even possible to feel good all the time? Okay, good. Well, I feel like I'm living proof that you can feel good all the time. Like, at least 98% of the time. I mean, I have my moments where, it's not so good, but, if something does upset me, or if I get angry, I don't stay in that space for too long. And, once I got out of my marriage and things started just to fall in place, it was you know, following the path of least resistance. And, you know, I was in so much grief when, you know, the marriage, you know, towards the end of the marriage. And I realized that once I moved out into my place, I realized how much energy that was sucking out of me. Have you guys ever felt that? Mm-hmm. Like, until you get out of a situation, you don't know how much it was weighing you down. That's what it felt like to me. So it's at that point that I made a decision for my life that I wasn't going to let anyone else take the power of my happiness away. So, you know, I just feel like there's no room. Like, there's absolutely, like, no room, like, no capacity for bad energy in my life. So there's only room for goodness, and that's what I only make room, you know, room for in my life. So, you know, ask yourself this question before you go to bed at night. Are you dreading the next morning? And if you are, ask yourself what needs to change. Bring awareness to how you're feeling, and that will shed light on perhaps what needs to change. So make sure that you're feeling good all the time. And when you're feeling good all the time, you feel inspired. And when you're feeling inspired, you get to shine. And we all deserve to shine every day. But, you know, just, you know, if you're feeling a little stagnant and, you know, during the day, just with the energy being a little low, just, you know, get up, breathe, and maybe go out for like a little walk, or I was going to say go out and get some coffee, or, you know, do what makes you feel good so that you can stay in that space of feeling good and feeling inspired, okay? And, oh, we didn't pass the basket.
We're going to
Sorry,
right now.
We're going to pass the basket around, and just drop your business card in there, and we're going to do a raffle. So I'm giving away 2 gift certificates for a combination of yoga and massage. And it's a 1-hour lesson with me with a half-hour yoga and a half-hour massage afterwards.